Hello, Nevada Realtors, and welcome to another episode of It's Not Soup Yet. I'm Chris Bishop. I'm one of your co-hosts. Along with me is Mr. Keith Lynham, your legislative chairman. It's been a few weeks, Keith, since we've had all three of our stooges on the same podcast. So it's kind of cool to get some time to spend doing one with you. So how are you?
Yeah, Larry, and Curly are here. I don't know where Bo is at. He's out there in the streets. Last I heard, he was in Elko. God love Elko. I hope it's still there. They may be succeeded to Utah by now. But yeah, it's been a hectic couple weeks. We spent this week up in Carson City with the vice chairman of the legislative committee, Azim Jessa, and a lot of activity, a lot of stuff going on up there. Yeah.
So you just were up there visiting the legislature and got to see a number of realtor champions. Tell us a little bit about what went on during your time up in Reno, in Carson City.
We went to see realtor champions and those that aren't quite so champions. But the good news is our message is really resonating well. Speaking of realtor champions, we went to see a lot of assembly people and every one of them. Whether they agreed 1,000% with us or not, all were truly respectful. They were open to what we had to discuss, and really the takeaway I came is our realtor champions, Bert Gurr and Haiti Kasama, were really champions up there, and every one of them said, we know who to go to. We know to go to Carrera, Nevada, when we have a real estate question, but we really know that we can listen to and trust Bert, Assemblyman Gurr, and Assemblywoman Kasama. So we're in awesome hands up there with those two.
That's fantastic. They're great people. And a couple of things I wanted to cover while we're on this show today is that, it seems like the legislative session finally is coming towards the end. Soup is almost ready. And so tell us a few of the highlights, some things we should expect towards the end of the session that a realtor member should know.
Yeah, it actually turns. It seems like every session there's something that nobody really thought. And all of a sudden this a bill comes up and it spurs a discussion. And for us, I think it was AB 371, and that's the home rule, Dillon's rule, where rent control, where there's a bill that wants the local municipalities to be able to set those rules. And so we went up there and wanted to have a clearing discussion about the hearing that went on up there last week. And I tell you, almost everyone agrees that, we have to have this discussion.
Sure.
Our point of view is it needs to be at the state level because, as you well know, Airbnbs, you've got one rule in Henderson, one rule in North Las Vegas, one in Clark, to the point where on one side of Sahara is one rule and on the other side of Sahara is another. And so our pitch to them is, can you imagine that? And one assembly person said, I could see where, and she just used North Las Vegas as an example, that you could have one neighborhood under a set of rules and another in the same municipality on another set of rules. So you're really picking winners and choosers. And so globally, we all agree it's available, affordable housing.
Sure.
And we need to start treating residential Nevada homeowners differently than the people they're really mad at, and that's the multi-billion-dollar hedge funds. So I think we really got our message across, one, but two, are building some alliances in that regard. So long answer, but that was my takeaway for this week.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. If you try to regulate things at the local level with all the different commissions and councils, it really does become quite a problem for people to stay consistent anywhere so that they can actually understand what's going on. Usually, during the end of the session, Keith, I know that the legislative committee and Rocky, specifically with Carrera, they launch out kind of an entire recap of all the bills and things that have happened. And so I know we'll be seeing that. That'll be coming as well. Any other items that you think that realtors can do right now before the end of the session to help support your legislative agenda items that you have as chairman of legislative?
But we always say, stay tuned, keep those, the email, watch on those emails for call to actions. But honestly, I think we've done a lot of work in the interim. That means a year ago.
Sure.
And we really made some inroads with people that The conversations are so much different than they have been over the last several sessions, I should say.
Yep.
And that even those that aren't 1,000% behind us are still reasonable, and they still understand that we represent both sides of what is the real big issue, and that's the tenants and the landlords. And so stay tuned, but I think we're in really good shape. AB 298, the bill we helped Majority Leader Howdigi is moving along. We had to sacrifice a few things we wanted, but I think we'll be back with those things. And I keep on hammering those things that treat Nevada homeowners, and those that own 4 and less, need to be treated differently than a hedge fund. And then we'll be back on that. So the good news is we're doing, I think, really well. I
awesome.
know there's groups out there that want to panic, but we're doing really well.
Well, Keith, thank you so much. And folks, next week we should have all 3 of the Stooges back together with more updates.
Are you trying to close? Are you trying to close now? Oh, okay.
Nope.
Yeah. So one more thing. The A's are coming to town, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that's great.
Yeah. Now you can close. I feel
okay,
better.
Great. Thanks, Keith. Now we understand some of the complications that we experience in Carson City. Keith, thank you so much for your time today and all you're doing for the realtors. And folks, remember, it's not soup yet.